When we grow older, we tend to believe that we already know how the world works. We rely on past experiences, familiar patterns, and established knowledge to navigate life. This is natural, but it can also become a limitation. In Buddhism, true understanding is not about accumulating knowledge, but about seeing things clearly, without the distortions of habit and assumption. This is what we call the beginner's mind, the ability to see the world with fresh eyes, as if for the first time. Imagine a child seeing the ocean for the first time. They do not compare it to something else, or assume they already understand it. They simply look, amazed by its vastness and movement. But as adults, we might look at the same ocean and think, "I've seen this before," and move on without really seeing it. The difference is not in the ocean, but in our minds. The beginner's mind is about letting go of the idea that we already know. It does not mean rejecting knowledge, but rather approaching each moment with curiosity and openness. When we assume we already understand, we stop paying attention. But when we let go of that assumption, everything becomes alive again. In Zen practice, there is a saying, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." This reminds us that when we hold on to a fixed perspective, we close ourselves off from new insights. A beginner sees a problem from many angles. An expert may only see it through the lens of their past experiences. This is why the beginner's mind is so important in daily life. It helps us see beauty in ordinary things. It allows us to listen deeply, without assumptions. It opens the door to real learning, not just memorizing facts, but experiencing life fully. The question is, how do we cultivate this kind of mind? As we go through life, we develop knowledge, skills, and expertise. This is useful, but it also creates a trap, the illusion that we fully understand the world. We start to see things through the filter of past experiences, judging them before truly encountering them. In Buddhism, this is one form of ignorance, not the lack of knowledge, but the inability to see things as they are. Think about a conversation with someone you have known for many years. You may believe you already understand what they are going to say, so you stop truly listening. Or consider a daily routine, walking the same path, eating the same meal, hearing the same sounds. If you believe you have seen it all before, you may stop noticing the small changes, the quiet beauty, the deeper meaning in these moments. The expert mind assumes, predicts, and judges. It wants control, and it feels safe in the comfort of knowing. But in doing so, it loses touch with reality. The world is always changing, yet we often approach it as if it is the same as yesterday. This is why we struggle when things do not go as expected. We resist change because we hold on to a fixed version of reality, rather than embracing what is actually happening. In Buddhist practice, we train ourselves to notice this tendency. Instead of reacting automatically, we pause. Instead of assuming, we observe. When we do this, we start to realize how much we overlook in our daily lives. A familiar place can reveal something new. A difficult situation can become a lesson. A conversation can turn into a true exchange, not just a confirmation of what we already believe. Letting go of the expert mind does not mean abandoning our experience or wisdom. It means carrying them lightly, allowing space for fresh understanding. It means shifting from knowing to noticing. When we do this, we regain a sense of wonder, flexibility, and freedom. Understanding the importance of a beginner's mind is one thing, but how do we actually live with it? How do we bring this fresh awareness into our daily lives? The truth is, it requires practice. Our minds naturally return to habits, assumptions, and judgments. But with gentle effort, we can train ourselves to see the world with new eyes, moment by moment. One way to cultivate a beginner's mind is to slow down. Many of us move through life quickly, thinking ahead to the next task or replaying past events. But when we rush, we miss the present. The next time you drink a cup of tea or coffee, try to experience it as if for the first time. Notice the warmth, the aroma, the taste. Rather than assuming you already know what it's like, be fully present with it. Another practice is to listen without expectation. When speaking with someone, observe how often your mind wants to predict what they will say, or how you are preparing your own response before they finish. Instead, try simply listening, without judgment. See if you can hear not just their words, but the feelings behind them. In doing so, you open the door to deeper connection and understanding. Curiosity is also key. A child looks at the world with endless curiosity, but as adults, we often stop asking questions. When we say, "I already know," we close ourselves off from new learning. Instead, we can approach life with a sense of wonder, asking, "What is this?" instead of, "I know what this is." Even the most ordinary experiences can reveal something new when we meet them with curiosity. Of course, it is easy to fall back into the expert mind. But rather than criticizing ourselves when this happens, we can simply notice it and begin again. Every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is a chance to return to the present. A beginner's mind allows us to meet life with openness, flexibility, and appreciation. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for discovery. It frees us from rigid thinking and brings us closer to reality. Living with a beginner's mind is not about achieving perfection. It is not about forcing ourselves to be mindful at all times. Rather, it is about gently returning, again and again, to a state of openness and curiosity. Every day offers countless opportunities to begin anew, whether in a conversation, a routine task, or even in the way we see ourselves. When we let go of the idea that we already know everything, the world becomes wider. We start to notice small details we once overlooked. We become more patient, more understanding. Challenges feel less like obstacles and more like invitations to grow. There is a quiet joy in this way of living, one that does not depend on external circumstances, but arises naturally from within. As you go about your day, perhaps there will be moments when you catch yourself moving on autopilot, assuming or judging. If that happens, there is no need for frustration. Instead, simply pause. Take a breath. Allow yourself to see the moment as if for the first time. Before we end, I want to express my gratitude. Many of you take the time to engage with this channel, whether by watching, leaving comments, sharing your thoughts, or offering support through super thanks. It truly means a lot. Your presence here creates a space for reflection and learning, not just for me, but for everyone who comes across these teachings. Thank you. If today's talk resonated with you, I am always happy to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share your reflections in the comments. And if you choose to subscribe, I look forward to continuing this journey with you. May you find newness in each moment, and may your heart remain open to all that life has to offer.